Bird inbounds, it comes to Maxwell. Max puts it on the floor. We're down to 6. Bird in the corner, double fake, jumper, it's good!
When NBA legend Larry Bird speaks, the basketball world listens.
So, to me, that's what basketball is all about. Community coming together, everybody involved.
And his latest revelation is turning heads across the WNBA. In a rare and heartfelt moment, Bird sat down to name his 6 favorite WNBA players, and his choices reveal more than just talent. They highlight grit, leadership, and a deep love for the game. Fans were stunned by some picks, moved by others, and completely caught off guard by who made the cut. So, who impressed the Hall of Famer most, and why are his picks sparking so much buzz? Number 1. Cynthia Cooper. Some players rack up numbers, some legends inspire a generation, and then there's Cynthia Cooper, who did both at once and in silence that roared louder than a sold-out arena. When the WNBA was only a blueprint, barely inked in 1996, Cooper was already out there laying the bricks, not on a big stage in New York or LA, but in Houston, a city that would become the epicenter of women's basketball greatness because of her. In 1997, at age 34, long past the age most athletes are peaking, Cooper didn't just join the WNBA, she owned it. From 1997 to 2000, she led the Houston Comets to 4 straight championships. 4 in a row. No rebuild years, no off seasons, just dominance. 3 times, she was named WNBA Finals MVP. And those weren't handed out. She earned them through clutch shots, fearless drives, and a mind that always seemed 2 plays ahead. Her game wasn't flashy. It was cold, calculated, unstoppable. The kind of basketball Larry Bird respects most. And before she took over the WNBA, Cooper had already carved her name into the hardwoods of the world. She'd spent over a decade overseas in Italy, mastering her craft. Then came the Olympics, Seoul in 1988, and Atlanta in 1996, where she helped Team USA bring home gold. 2 medals, 2 different decades, same player, same killer instinct. When Bird talks about the kind of greatness that sneaks up on you, the kind that's never loud, never boastful, but always devastating, he's talking about players like Cooper. Players who, even after retiring, keep winning. Cooper stepped into coaching and took the Phoenix Mercury to a title run in 2007. And she didn't stop there. She mentored, she advocated, and she wrote it all down in She Got Game, My Personal Odyssey, a book that's part memoir, part blueprint for every young girl who ever picked up a ball and dreamed big. She was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2010, not because she asked for it, but because the game had no choice. Cooper's story wasn't built on hype. It was built on grit and greatness that Larry Bird, the ultimate student of the game, couldn't look away from. And then came the moment the Hall of Fame couldn't ignore. What made Bird stop and watch? Stay tuned. Number 2. Maya Moore. Some players win, and then some players redefine what winning looks like. Maya Moore, she didn't just play the game, she reshaped it. That's what caught Larry Bird's eye. Not just the titles, not just the trophies, but how she went after them. With discipline, with dominance, and with something deeper burning behind her calm stare. The warning signs came early. In 2008, Moore became only the 2nd freshman in women's college basketball history to be named a first-team All-American. UConn had seen greatness before, but this was something else. Her 2nd year? No sophomore slump. Instead, she led the University of Connecticut to a perfect season, undefeated, and snatched both the national championship and Player of the Year honors like it was routine. But nothing about her game was routine. She did it again the following year. Another national championship, another Player of the Year award, all while balancing the pressure with a 3.7 GPA. Because for Maya Moore, excellence wasn't limited to the court. It was a mindset. Then came 2011. The Minnesota Lynx called her name as the #1 overall pick. And from day one, she didn't just fit into the WNBA. She bent it around her. By 2018, she had already built a resume that most could only dream of. 5-time All-Star, 4-time champion, a league MVP, and 2 Olympic gold medals. She wasn't just a standout. She was the standard. And Larry Bird saw something familiar in that, a killer instinct cloaked in quiet confidence. A student of the game who played like she already knew the ending. But Maya's story stretched further than the hardwood. She was the first woman in basketball history to land a signature shoe with Nike's Jordan brand, an honor soaked in history and rarely given. She used her platform not just to win games, but to challenge systems. Moore walked away from basketball in her prime to fight for criminal justice reform, risking her legacy for something bigger. That's not just rare. That's almost unheard of. Larry Bird didn't just respect greatness. He respected sacrifice, vision, and those who knew how to lead without needing the spotlight to prove it. And in Maya Moore, he saw all of that, wrapped into one extraordinary presence. And here comes the one quiet player that left Larry Bird in awe. Keep watching to find out. Number 3, Lisa Leslie. When you talk about pioneers, real pioneers in women's basketball, one name doesn't just come up, it rises above the rest. Lisa Leslie wasn't built for mediocrity. She was built to dominate, to disrupt, and to redefine the very structure of the game itself. That's exactly what Larry Bird saw. It was 1997, the birth year of the WNBA. The league was young, the stakes were high, and the spotlight was small. But when the Los Angeles Sparks selected Lisa Leslie, standing at 6'5", it felt like destiny walked through the door. She wasn't just tall, she was terrifying. A perfect blend of size, skill, and balance, wrapped in a competitive edge that you couldn't teach. From her first minutes on the hardwood, she became a problem no defense could solve, and a blueprint for what greatness in the women's game could look like. Leslie's reign wasn't quiet. Between 2001 and 2006, she racked up 3 league MVPs. She led the Sparks to back-to-back championships in 2001 and 2002, 8-time All-Star, 8-time All-WNBA First Team. She didn't just play well. She owned the court, offense, defense, rebounding, shot blocking. She was complete, and that's what Larry Bird admired most. Total control, delivered under pressure, with no need for noise. But then came 2002, a moment so shocking it forced the world to look up. Literally, on July 30th, in a game against the Miami Soul, Lisa Leslie became the first player in WNBA history to dunk. Not try. Not almost. Dunk. A feat that instantly shattered every old-school belief that said women couldn't bring the same fire, same flair, same altitude as the men. It wasn't just a highlight. It was a shift in the sport's DNA. And Leslie didn't stop with league play. She went global. 4 Olympic Games. Atlanta in 1996, Sydney in 2000, Athens in 2004, and Beijing in 2008. 4 gold medals. 4 declarations that she wasn't just one of the best in the country, she was one of the best in the world. Even after retiring in 2009, she didn't step back. She stepped forward. As a broadcaster, as a coach, as a mentor. Lisa Leslie became the voice behind the game she helped build. Larry Bird understood legacy, and in Lisa Leslie, he saw a mirror of his own, an unstoppable competitor who changed everything just by being herself. Now this is the kind of fire even Larry Bird couldn't ignore. What made this player different? You won't want to miss this. Number 4. Diana Taurasi. Some players have talent, others have grit. But Diana Taurasi? She was forged in something different: pressure, legacy, and the kind of competitive fire that never flickers. Larry Bird didn't just see it, he recognized it, because that same fire once burned in him. They called her the White Mamba, a name not casually handed out. It came from Kobe Bryant himself, a man who only named killers. Diana earned it not with flash, but with fury. Game after game, year after year, she played like every possession was personal. And in the moments when everything tightened, the shot clock, the scoreboard, the crowd's breath, Taurasi wanted the ball, every single time. In 2004, she entered the WNBA as the #1, first overall pick for the Phoenix Mercury. The league was changing, and she was the change. By 2007, the Mercury were champions. Then again in 2009, and once more in 2014. 3 titles, 1 MVP, and an avalanche of game winners that carved her name into the soul of the sport. But Taurasi's dominance didn't stop at state lines. She went global. From Athens in 2004 to Tokyo in 2021, Diana brought home 5 Olympic gold medals with Team USA. That's not just success, that's total basketball sovereignty. And then there's the number, 9,000+ career points. The WNBA's all-time leading scorer. A record she didn't stumble into. It was hunted year after year, forged with elbows, three-pointers, and fourth quarters that belonged to her. Her style was never pretty. It was precise, cold-blooded, calculated, and always a step ahead. Larry Bird knew that mindset, the refusal to slow down, the addiction to competition. Taurasi didn't just want to win, she expected to. And she never backed down from the moment, no matter how heavy it got. She wasn't just a face of the league, she became its spine. Tough, unshakable, and built to last. Even now, deep into her career, with younger stars rising and the spotlight shifting, Diana's presence remains magnetic. She still delivers. She still inspires. Because legends don't fade, they adapt.
Well, she is a pioneer, an icon, and one of the greatest to ever play the game. These words describe basketball legend Diana Taurasi.
And that's what Larry Bird admired most. Not just what she scored, but how she never stopped coming. And then came Elena Del Don. What did Bird see in her quiet dominance? Stay connected. Number 5. Elena Del Don. Every now and then, a player arrives who doesn't shout for attention, but earns it with quiet, undeniable brilliance. That's Elena Del Don, a storm hidden behind elegance. And for a student of the game like Larry Bird, it was impossible not to notice. She entered the WNBA in 2013 as the 2nd overall pick, drafted by the Chicago Sky. But from the very start, Del Don didn't play like a rookie. She played like a master, controlled, surgical, dangerous. Standing 6 feet 5 inches with the shooting touch of a guard, she didn't just blur positions, she rewrote them. You couldn't put a small defender on her. She'd shoot over them. You couldn't go big. She'd blow by them. She was matchup-proof. Then came something that set her apart in the history books. In 2019, Del Don entered the WNBA's version of basketball royalty, the 50-40-90 club. That means 50% from the field, 40% from beyond the arc, and 90% from the line, in a single season. She was the first and only player in league history to do it. Not because she chased stats, but because she chased perfection. That same year, she led the Washington Mystics to their first ever WNBA championship. Through pain, through injury, through defenses built just to stop her, and failing. Her back was breaking down, but she kept standing tall. A herniated disc wasn't enough to keep her off the court. That's the part Larry Bird respects most. The courage, the choice to keep going when most would stop. But Elena's impact didn't stop with a scoreboard. Off the court, she stood even taller, advocating for health awareness, for mental wellness, for inclusion. She opened up about her own journey, her battles, her sister's health, and the constant fight to stay whole in a game that can take everything from you. She was more than a scorer. She was a strategist, a symbol, a technician who treated every shot like a signature. That blend of precision, resilience, and quiet leadership, that's what made Bird stop and take notice. Because Elena Del Don didn't just play the game beautifully. She understood it in ways that echoed everything Larry Bird ever stood for. What makes an athlete stop chasing records and start rewriting the game? Stay glued. And don't miss this part. Number 6. Caitlin Clark. Some athletes chase records, others rewrite the game entirely. And Caitlin Clark? She did both, and made it look effortless. For Larry Bird, a man who knew a thing or two about bending the court to your will, Clark wasn't just impressive. She was inevitable. It started in Iowa City, but it didn't stay there for long. From the moment Clark laced up as a freshman for the Iowa Hawkeyes, something shifted. You could feel it. She didn't walk into college basketball to blend in. She stormed in like a thunderclap. Crossovers, no-look passes, 30-foot daggers that barely touched the rim. Every game was a great show, and Clark was both the star and the architect. Then the numbers came. All-time NCAA Division I scoring leader, not just in women's basketball, in college basketball, period. Over 3,900 points, a total no one thought reachable in the modern era. But that was the thing about Clark. She didn't play by old rules. She redefined them. And yet, it wasn't just the points that grabbed Larry Bird's attention. It was the presence, the impact. In arenas packed shoulder to shoulder, fans weren't just watching, they were waiting. For the moment, she'd pull up from the logo. For the one pass that split two defenders and felt like it defied physics. Caitlin didn't just break records. She sold out stadiums. She made people care, millions of them. And for Bird, who once transformed Boston into a basketball cathedral, that mattered. By the time Clark declared for the WNBA draft in 2024, she had already done something bigger than any stat sheet could contain. She shifted the culture. Television ratings shattered records. Merchandise flew off shelves. Little girls wore black and gold and practiced step-back threes in their driveways. And here's the part that truly resonated with Bird: the grit behind the glamour. Clark played with an edge. She faced criticism, trash talk, doubts, and never blinked. She didn't just respond with words, she responded with buckets, with vision, with leadership that turned pressure into fuel. Because Caitlin Clark didn't just play basketball, she raised the stakes, shifted the energy, and made every court she stepped on feel like the center of the universe. Her game wasn't just sharp, it was fearless. She didn't flinch under pressure, she thrived in it. And for a legend like Larry Bird, a man who built his legacy on delivering in the tensest, loudest, most demanding moments, that kind of fire wasn't just rare, it was magnetic. Bird saw in Clark the same DNA that defined his own career: precision under pressure, swagger without arrogance, and the unteachable ability to take over a game when everything was on the line. She didn't need the crowd to cheer. She gave them a reason to stand. That's what separates greatness from hype. Clark didn't just play the game, she elevated it. And in Bird's eyes, that kind of presence isn't just memorable, it's unforgettable. Now, which of these legends is also your favorite WNBA player? We'd like to hear your answers in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.